So, I grew up in a monastery dedicated to Ilmater, god of long-suffering, or whatever. I was found by two monks, the old Grandmaster Camus, and an initiate Kiara, who went to go do the normal initiation rite, where you're supposed to ride a terrifying Remoraz. But when Kiara was getting ready to ride it, they found me riding it. Tiny, somewhere in the realm of 4-year-old girl riding it. Yeah. So the initiation thing was put off for a bit, and they decided to take me back to the monastery. They had to do quite a bit of convincing, and I never really stuck to their traditions and their ways, but they taught me, trained me, fed me, so in a way I'm grateful. However, there were many of the monks who felt that my infernal heritage made me unsuitable to work there, so they actually made me work. They called it part of my training, part of the long suffering, and it gave glory to Ilmater or whatever, but they would make me scrub floors and, I don't know, do almost everything but wipe their butts. Camus was kind, in a way, but he also insisted that this was just part of my training. The only real friend I had was Kiara. She would secretly take me out and wander the mountains. But one day, there was a halfling paladin by the name of Malva, who was on some sort of spiritual journey. And when she saw me, she was troubled. But Camus managed to convince her that I was okay for some reason, and she and I became close friends. Some could say nigh inseparable. And when she was leaving, I didn't want to stay anymore, and I saw an opportunity to leave, and she thought so as well, but we knew it would take a lot of convincing because my training was so quote-unquote rigorous. But we decided that we would go. We managed to convince him. And when we finally got out of sight of the monastery, we found a small stone building and fell asleep. But when we woke up, we were chained in a room we didn't recognize, and Malva was next to me, bloodied and beaten, and the monks who really hated me were there. They'd followed us, and they beat her to a bloody pulp. She didn't make it, and their leader, she told me that the reason that they took so much time on Malva was because they were trying to spark my demonic, devilish heritage. I don't know. She said something about how she wanted to prove that I was a devil's child, and that it was my fault that Malva was dead. I blacked out, and when I woke up, I found that I had beaten them all to a bloody pulp and they were dead. So I just kind of wandered the streets, I guess, without a purpose really, and one day I found a little girl being mugged, and I saved her, and I remembered Camus telling me that he couldn't give me a name because I had to choose one for myself. So I chose the name Vigil. Something about keeping a watch over everything. It's a little melodramatic, but I guess it fits. And one day, I met up with a group of adventurers. An half-elf cleric, human wizard, and a half-elf bard. Naive, but we do okay. Hey guys, thanks for watching. So this was my very first character that I ever played. my first experiences with D&D were actually DMing straight to the top, I guess. And this character was severely antagonistic, very anti-hero, didn't work well with others, kind of difficult for others to play with. I mean, it was my first character that I'd ever made, and I mean, I didn't know how to make a character that would be more interesting than like typical tragic anti-hero. I found that since making this character, it's a lot more fun to make someone who will actually be more willing to adventure and make interesting choices. But yeah, I did have a lot of fun, and I miss her a lot. Well, thank you again for watching, and subscribe. I hope to make more of these in the future. I don't know what to say. Yeah. Bye.